Oh, actually, hey Snips, been a while.
Hey, Snips.
Might be a good way to start this out. But howdy, howdy, howdy! Welcome back to MCubed for everybody that's in right now, and will be coming in the future. Thank y'all for watching. We just got through with what very well may be the best Disney Star Wars, particularly live action, that we've gotten since they acquired the company. I think
I would agree. I would
that
definitely agree.
that was
This is definitely getting a rewatch because one, it struck every nerve of my body of being like, okay, this is why I love Star Wars. You know, every single second of this episode, man.
like
Ugh.
it even starts off a little slow, and you're kind of like, okay, well, okay,
Yeah,
Hera's doing some stuff. Are we gonna like go into another meeting? What's gonna happen? And she's like, no, Chopper, take the kid. I'm gonna talk this guy off real quick. We're gonna hop on the ship and we're gonna get moving. It was just freaking action packed. I thought it was perfect.
uh,
Prior to jumping into the stream a little bit more, we will have Nick here in a little bit. We might have chilling in the basement or Aaron on here in a little bit as well. So keep y'all's eyes posted for that. But in the meantime, let's roll that intro. I know it's a little bit Western themed, but
that's
today it's
okay.
space Western themed. You know,
Hey,
there's got
Star Wars is the space western, baby.
okay. Just thinking about it real quick. I've got a chalkboard full of notes right here. You know, I came prepared. I was thinking about it the entire time. I was just like frantically writing, staring at a screen, going back and forth. The episode is titled Fallen Jedi.
Great title.
Who's the Fallen Jedi?
There's 3 of them.
Is there 3 or are there 4?
Who's the 4th?
Who's the 3rd?
Okay, well, Ahsoka, Fallen Jedi.
Quite literally.
Yeah, quite literally, and even in terms of the order too. You know, she left, but yeah, that's funny. I didn't even piece that together. You have Rey's character, Balin. That's his name, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then Anakin.
Ooh.
Because it ends with Annie. We see Annie.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I was gonna put Sabine as the Fallen Jedi because the second she starts becoming a Jedi, she immediately is like, "Nope, I'm gonna."
She gets tempted immediately, so it's fitting title. Like, holy shit.
And then I was even gonna put Marok in there a little bit, or Marok.
Yeah.
Who knows if he was an Inquisitor at a certain point? I've got a few ideas for that, so we'll see.
Okay, well, I guess we might as well just get into that. Well, Marok was just dust.
Night Sister magic, like.
But Night Sister magic. So, like, I think it's just like, yeah, just like put him into some armor, give him an Inquisitor lightsaber that they found, and just let him go to work for him, you know? But, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's definitely going to be more to him. I don't think it's over.
No, I mean,
he still has a role to play. I don't think he's dead.
The fact that he was strictly like magic, smoke, steam, whatever the hell he was, I feel like that could bring him back into play a lot more easier later on.
Like, he has a cool character design, cool voice, but I mean, he could be the I don't know, the spirit that resides could be someone, who knows? But
well, okay, so Sam Witwer is of course Galen Merrick. He's Darth Maul. He's even Palpatine in the animated.
Rebels. Yeah.
I think it's just Rebels, not Clone Wars. Yeah. I'm thinking if Morgan Elsbeth's a Night Sister,
that's a connection to Thrawn, or not Thrawn. Maul. Yeah.
Do you think it could be just a very weakened like Maul? Because that voice last week, when we heard Marok speak, just like the 3 words or whatever,
it's Maul-esque. The thing is, I don't know what to think of. I just don't know what to think about it because I'm not sure if his because I know it said like voice Leonard or whatever by Sam Witwer at the end of the first episode. I don't know if it did the other episodes. I didn't check. If it did, then it makes sense that he could be connected to the mall in some way, shape, or form. But I know no matter what, in the first episode, I saw this today on Twitter. There was in the scene where she's like finding the map or like a way to the map or whatever, in that little underground area.
Yeah.
You hear Maul in the background say, "Is he the chosen one?" or something like that, which I did not catch. But I mean, that's obviously Sam Witwer, so that's where he lends his voice. But who knows if he's officially voicing Marok or Merrick, however you pronounce his name.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe. But I don't think he's been credited as such yet. But
I don't know if there's enough to truly credit him yet, which is kind of like
right.
Good so, like, in a way for theories.
Sick if it is like the some ancestral plane type deal to bring Maul back to life through the smoke cloud. That could be pretty dope. I honestly don't see that as the case. I would hope like it all comes together, but he could ultimately just be like a cool character that just got sliced down this episode and he's gone. But
if they were gonna do that and it be Night Sister magic, though, I couldn't imagine them not doing like Clone Wars Night Sister zombies or just bringing back some like to bring back someone in that armor, someone in that with that type of lightsaber. It's very Inquisitor like. It's almost like who would have been the best Inquisitor in a lot of ways. I don't know. After. Obviously, the Galen Merrick stuff was kind of reaching. It was kind of.
I do think that was ultimately a reach, but I mean, it would have been sick, especially to have him versus Ahsoka, where like it's full circle, like it's poetry, it rhymes, what George Lucas would always say.
But also, it's full circle with Maul. That almost rhymes even more.
I agree. So I mean, obviously that'd be sick, but at this point, I think there's just bigger fish to fry. I mean, Thrawn's coming in, so.
Yes, the only thing that I'm thinking about that it could still be Maul, because after just seeing that belly get sliced open and all the smoke come out like that was kind of like, okay, so this guy's not as important. But thinking about like going towards the future, obviously Lucas wanted Maul to be the big bad for the sequel trilogy.
Right.
Is this Dave's way of saying we're gonna do the sequels, and Heir to the Empire sequels?
Right. Like
we're gonna do them over here.
I can see it being like an ultimate like. Okay, we're going to adapt the Heir to the Empire trilogy and also try to piece what George wanted with his sequel trilogy into one thing, and that's being this prequel to the sequels, which is a dope concept to be able to also like.
It could even happen. It could happen while the sequels is going on, just elsewhere, and we don't necessarily. It could be just two different time periods, I guess.
That's true too. But I mean, I do ultimately see this being like the ultimate tie-in to the sequels by the end of like the movies that eventually come from this. Like just with how like the First Order comes to be, and like Ben, I could see like one of the last scenes being Ben's fall, with this part of the saga basically. Where we will see Luke in time. I don't know if we'll see him in Ahsoka, but no matter what, in the future Dave Filoni movie.
See, I think this is a good way to get away from all that. I think there's some of it that will tie it back in, but I feel like that is going to be mostly Mando. And like what was going to be the New Republic show, however they work that out. Obviously, we have Skeleton Crew and Ahsoka, which is going to be over here. And I feel like that's just boosting up a different like part of the galaxy, or part of the universe, because it's a different galaxy. But
potentially, but I just ultimately see it as like the heir to the Empire, which is Thrawn. Like the heir to the Empire is going to create the new Empire, where there is a new Republic, and that new Empire is the First Order. So that's just how.
Are you familiar with Heir to the Empire, the story itself?
Yeah,
because he creates the Empire of the Hand outside of the known galaxy for a long time, and they come back in, and that's why he's the heir of the empire, is because he's created an empire outside of like the known stuff.
Right. No, I understand. And he probably has already been doing that this whole time, though. That's another thing. So I think this is his opportunity to come in and take charge. But who knows?
It's going to be interesting.
It's just interesting, you know? Like,
either way they take it, it's just the amount of like possibilities either way is exciting. And that's a good place to be in Star Wars, which we haven't been in a while.
Right. I just think the ultimate thing in like Kathleen Kennedy's mind, for example, is like make this appeal to the fans that didn't like the sequels, but also like still make it so the sequels come to be, so you can appease those fans, right? So I think what Dave has to do, which is a monumental task, he has to bring it all together within what he's trying to do with Favreau and the Mandoverse. So this Rebelverse / man culminate with Dave Filoni's film, obviously. Yes. So that's how I see it, because we're already getting a ton of like background into like, one, how there's a bunch of like Empire remnants within like the New Republic, and then like with all the cloning stuff, where obviously Snoke is like he's a clone, or like he's a created thing by a clone of Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's how they're explaining that aspect. So it's not just lazy writing, where obviously it was at the time, but with all this background stuff, it makes it less so. Where it's like, hey, Palpatine's a clone, and we're explaining it. So it makes it a little better all around. And then, of course, this can also show like why Luke is so down bad in like the sequel trilogy as well. So, yeah.
I mean,
where like, and of course, in Mando, like he's still like this all powerful Luke Skywalker who's still like humble at the same time. You can tell. He's not quite where he is in Last Jedi yet, where he's just lost completely.
Mm.
So I think we can get to that point, but who knows?
Yeah, I hope we don't. I mean, I do. I hope we do, but I hope Ahsoka is separate from that. It's just my like personal hopes.
I think it could have, again, like they could go movies with this stuff, you know, where Ahsoka is in like Mando season 4, I think would be like the ultimate bridges into the movies, and then the shows will probably be done, I think, for a bit.
So just that before, because obviously we got a lot to talk about in the episode in general, but just thinking about movies and shows in general at the moment for Star Wars, do you think if Ahsoka viewership doesn't tick up, and I really hope it ticks up after this episode, because it has not been doing very well. It's been on par or subpar to Andor for the most part, which Andor, as much as it's an amazing show, it didn't get viewed at all, or very little. So if this doesn't get good viewership numbers, do you think they might? Because they already said they were working on a season 2 of Ahsoka prior to production on season 1.
Okay.
So
I did not hear that.
Would that possibly turn that into a film instead?
I think they would probably take whatever ideas they have with that to put into the film that Filoni is currently working on, or like thinking about, you know. Like, it's obviously all planned out and structured, because you can tell that Filoni has a plan. Unlike with the sequel trilogy, there was obviously no fucking plan.
Yeah. Well, okay, real quick, before, I don't want to dive too much off trail with this, what you were saying about Kathleen Kennedy having, like, okay, well, maybe this, I don't think, obviously, it's all of our dreams that she has no control for anything, and it's just like, let the people who actually care about Star Wars make it. Yeah. I don't think she has much control on Ahsoka, because she put Filoni as creative officer of Lucasfilm. The only person he answers to is her. There's not another person in the entire company besides like Bob Iger and the board for Disney that he has to answer to. I don't think he'd even care what she would say for this, honestly.
Maybe not, but I think
that's not necessarily a good way to say it either. I don't think he might not care, but I think he would be like, all right, like, we'll do that, and then kind of do his own thing anyways. I feel like Acolyte is going to be the place where Kathleen Kennedy is like, this is where my mark will be left. For better or worse, I'm excited for Acolyte. I think it looks and sounds really cool.
Well, I think what will help her case, if she has a big hand to play in that, is that it's before everything. where it's like you can have like nice, fun like stuff to throw in there, like a Yoda or a Plagueis or something like that, just to appease some fan, like just to be like, hey, you see this stuff from like from the story you guys know and love, but this gets to be something completely fresh at the same time. So you guys, like that's the difference with this compared to like the sequel trilogy, where it's like that is a legacy, and that legacy was tarnished because these aren't the characters we know and love truly.
Mm-hmm.
So with being in a completely fresh territory, I think she has room to actually show her strengths, because I think she is one of the better producers of all time. I just don't think she loves Star Wars, yet she is the head of Lucasfilm.
Yes.
George trusted her to lead, but she is honestly, she's not doing a good job, which sucks because George handpicked her to run Lucasfilm. But,
and all of it makes sense. The writing was kind of on the wall. It wasn't a very good choice on George, and George has said so, and he said so very quickly. Those interviews that they had in 2015 and 2016, like around that table before Force Awakens came out, I guess 2014 and 2015, it showed how much Kathleen Kennedy just didn't actually care or know about stuff. And I don't say these things to take away from her. Obviously, we could just be part of the echo chamber being like, oh my God, so bad. She is bad for Star Wars, but she's not a bad producer. Steven Spielberg called her the best producer ever, which is completely false, because Steven Spielberg would be a better producer than her. She has co-produced a lot of things alongside Spielberg and co-produced a lot of things alongside George Lucas. So she is one of the best executive producers ever. But she's never like executive produced her own projects besides Star Wars. Those were really her first like her own projects.
Right. And like, to be fair, I feel like at this point in time, George easily would have appointed Dave, but at that point,
he just wasn't ready.
Didn't have that much experience. He's able to show all of his experience through Ahsoka right now,
which is great to see.
Which is turning out fantastic. Yeah. So like, he's obviously probably on the top of the short list to take over once Kennedy's gone.
Like I'll say, God Emperor Dave Filoni. I love the guy. I just don't know if he has that exec in him to be an actual like executive like that. I'm very happy
fair, because he's ultimately just a storyteller. That's what separates like him from like Kevin Feige, and especially what separates Kevin Feige from Kathleen Kennedy. Where Feige, he's able just to run everything, able to give it like, okay, we need this, we need that, we need, but he is a true nerd and a fan. So that's why we're able to get some great stuff here and there from Marvel.
It's amazing.
But with Kathleen, you can tell she's not a fan because she doesn't know what she's doing. Like, she doesn't understand it. That's why she appoints people who just don't ultimately get it. Like, JJ kind of got it, but also he's just one of those, you can tell he's one of those people that just didn't like the prequels, though, either. He was just a full-on, like, oh, this is my Star Wars original trilogy, which is fine. But it's like, you need to incorporate everything that we have from George to bring a culmination to this saga, and that's what we didn't get.
Which, my ADD brain has two different avenues to take. I'll choose the Star Wars avenue. Honestly, this feels like the most prequel thing we've gotten since the prequels.
I think it's the most everything we've gotten. It feels sequel, it feels prequel, and it feels OG. So it's like, Dave understands how to incorporate everything.
That was just the epitome of Star Wars. I loved it.
Right. Well, I guess we can actually, talk about the episode. We've talked about it here or there, but we've been a little all over the place. But I mean,
we can dive into some specifics. I don't know when Nick is popping in here. Haven't gotten a message.
Hopefully he gets in here before I got to go. But I mean, it is what it is. But
yeah,
I still have some time. I have a good amount of time. But ultimately, I guess we can just start with. To me, I like the small things where I'm like, okay, this right here is what like gets me to love Star Wars, where it feels like Star Wars, that magic, right? Where like you go from like two droids being the shit out of each other, which was sick in my eyes.
Dope,
right? And you don't see that much. So like that was awesome to see. And then you can go straight to like a classic, like an iMovie transition to where Hera is leaving the New Republic with a nice little fleet to get to Ahsoka. And I'm just like, this feels like Star Wars, you know? Just like, all right, let's go. Like, I don't care what you say. I'm a general. I'm not going to listen to your orders. I'm going to do what's right here, because that's what it all starts with, a rebellion, because they feel that the people in charge aren't doing enough. And so Hera's like, we're doing this. And so she takes her ragtag group. And I really love that specifically about this episode, because I love when everything's culminating towards the end and you see the hyperspace scene, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like one,
a little sequel.
Sick scene. Yeah, a little sequel where you have the hyperspace happen, or like, you know, the light speed scene happen.
There's man.
And then you have like all these ships just like in like that crossfire, basically, right? Ooh, Nick, what's up, man?
Howdy. We're talking about giant hyperspace drives at the moment.
Oh, the hyperspace drive?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what are your thoughts?
So basically, what I'm just saying is like how I enjoy how they jump to light speed, and then like you have the entire like this New Republic fleet. There's in that crossfire. I just love like one that takes a little bit of that one sequel scene from The Last Jedi, but it makes it not too ridiculous. Where, yeah, that obviously there's gonna be a lot of turbulence during that, and that's why you see these X-wings like hit each other, but they're not all just destroyed like that, you know. So
yeah. No, I agree. I thought it was cool to see something like that since The Last Jedi, and yeah, no, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, it makes it seem like, oh, okay, well, it's not a foolproof thing. Where like, I just know in the Rise of Skywalker, they have to like literally backtrack in one line of dialogue, being like, oh, what she did there was like a 1 in a million chance. We're like, with this, it's like, okay, this would obviously happen, especially with like a transgalactic highway type of thing, where it's like, okay, you don't have to destroy every single ship there, but you can have a few casualties at the same time.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
It almost felt like prequel and sequel together. Not even prequel. It felt like Clone Wars and sequel together. The sequel, obviously, the hyperdrive shooting like that, but the Clone Wars aspect of it was, you know, like when Grievous is trying out all of his EMP stuff.
Right.
It literally fried their circuits for a bit, caused a couple to crash into each other, and it was just cool for a little bit. I love it.
Right. So if we're talking in terms of, sorry, I don't want to interrupt. In terms of like the evolution of hyperspace activity or hyperdrives, and we see it in the prequels when the ships have to get attached to that hyperspace ring. You know what I'm talking about? Like Obi-Wan when he has to travel and everything. But now it's like all these ships have their own hyperdrives, and you see all these different uses of light speed and hyperspace with, you know, ramming a ship into that fleet in The Last Jedi, and now in this case it's to escape that squadron, you know, with Hera and her squadron. I thought it was really cool.
Which, okay, the biggest thing I think I have, the biggest fault I guess I have with Ahsoka so far, which, you know, I'm a Rebels guy, so I don't have many faults, but writing wise, I did not like the writing in episode 3 where Hera is talking to all the people in the little courtroom, and she's having her meeting, and they're like, no, you can't do this. She's a general. She can make her own decisions and go out and do things. I liked seeing that in this episode.
Agreed.
But her doing that, do you think that possibly negates a little bit of the chance that the New Republic will help? Or do you think Captain Teva following suit is like, do you think that hurts his kind of career chances a little bit? Or do you think it's kind of like, all right, well, we got a captain and a general out here. They just got attacked. The attackers left and left like the group in literal shambles. Does that up the ante? Like maybe Hera's going to have a little backup, or does the New Republic say, all right, well, you disobeyed us, not just you, but you got another higher up to disobey us and bring other lackeys along?
If we're
fired.
I ultimately think it's just going to give Hera a lot more like of a say like in the future, because one, I don't think they're going to send backup currently, but once Thrawn's in the picture, and be like, oh shit, we should have listened to our general in that moment, because now we're screwed, because Thrawn, like, you're about to have the guy come in and wreak havoc. So but like, oh, they had some good reasons to be like, okay, are we just here to like do a rescue mission. Like, who knows if Thrawn's still around? But once he's there, they're like, okay, we should have listened to her. So she'll be a huge role in like leading the attacks, I'm sure, against Thrawn.
Yeah. I think she'd have to be. You know, just kind of like the best pilot left around that now Anakin's gone. Ish.
No, I agree. I don't think that they're going to have any help in this moment. I do think, there's going to be help come from different sources too. I don't think the New Republic. I would like that the New Republic wouldn't get too much involved and they get help from other allies. Even returning ones. Like Rex and other. Like Luke. He's still around, right? So I'm just saying, people from the Mandalorian, people from the Book of Boba Fett. There's so many. Sorry, I'm messing up my timelines, but you get the idea.
Or even Rebels. Give me
Zeb.
Even
a lot of Rebels.
Yeah, Zeb so bad.
I think we mentioned in the last episode or this last podcast that we had. I was hoping Zeb and Rex would make an appearance for all the Rebel fans.
Do you think that might be more likely in episode 5 now that we are where we are?
I don't think so.
I don't see it happening.
I think this is 4, right? Episode 5 is gonna touch up on Anakin and Ahsoka.
That's a good point. Do you think they're even gonna go into do you think they're gonna continue the story that we have going right now, or do you think it's gonna be standalone Anakin Ahsoka World Between Worlds kind of stuff?
It's definitely gonna be 2 plot lines. I feel next arc. So it's gonna be solely Ahsoka in the In Between Worlds, and then I think we're gonna see Thrawn at the end of the episode for sure.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have Sabine traveling with those bad guys, and then possibly finding Thrawn. They're gonna find the map. They're not gonna find Ezra just yet, but they're gonna find Thrawn. I think that's a good idea.
It's gonna be a lot of Anakin and Ahsoka dialogue, plus potential flashbacks, I believe.
Oh, okay. So with that, I guess in mind. Oh, real quick. Who do you think is the Fallen Jedi, Nick? The episode, I guess, is titled Fallen Jedi. Do you have a specific one you think? Because we were kind of like everybody's kind of a Fallen Jedi in this.
I don't know his name, but it's the main bad. I forget his name. It's the person who had died. Baylan?
Yeah.
Marok, the guy that got sliced, or Baylan, the big guy?
You're talking about
Baylan, the big guy. Baylan, the big guy.
Yeah.
Baylan is the Fallen Jedi. I feel like he was the one, and then you see these 2 parallels going on in this episode. You got the master and apprentice, masters versus the apprentices are fighting against each other, and you have the masters.
Dope.
You see the different skill levels. So and this guy knew Anakin. This guy knew who he became. He's a Fallen Jedi. He is the Fallen Jedi.
That's a good point.
Very interesting character too overall. Like, I want to know way more about him. Like, what his role was during the Clone Wars and then after.
Whether or not this child came from the Order or came from later on, this guy had a plan. He found an apprentice, trained her enough. I think that's this guy. He's not done. He's not finished. I'm excited.
He means business. Again, it's like he's not fully dark side. Like, he's not a Sith. Like him and Ahsoka are the same coin, just different sides. In my eyes.
I think the best villains are the ones who see themselves as heroes, and he's definitely one of them. And he's a man of his word, and I like it. He's very sophisticated. It's giving very, very like Empire-y, like power vibes, because in the Empire, everyone was like, you either do this or you die, because Darth Vader's going to just force choke you from a different Death Star, man, or a different fighter. This guy means business. He's giving the same energy, not Vader energy, but he came to play. I feel like he's one of the more exciting villains that we've seen in some of the other shows.
That Ahsoka rounding the corner just to hop up into that little map area, and just him just sitting on the rock. He's just like he's not happy about what he's about to do, but he's just sitting there, just this is it, and just goes ham immediately.
That moment reminded me of The Princess Bride. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but the guy's just waiting for him to like climb up the rope to fight him, and he's like, "Do you want some help? I'll just wait. I'll take your time." They're just having a little monologue moment, It's very like, "Hey, we're gonna talk it out before we fight." And I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great."
And
what I really like about him, just in general, like in any like fiction or whatever, like or any movie in general, where there is a bad guy. Some of my favorite fictional characters involve the bad guy thinking they're right, like you said, but like you as the audience member can kind of like see their point of view as well. Like for example, like a Magneto or even a Thanos, or it's like, okay, you're making good points. You're still ultimately a bad guy with what you're doing, but like I see where you're coming from, and I think they're hitting that mark very well with Balin's character.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think so. Did y'all like? Obviously, we're a little. I think the Anakin line was probably the one that we'll lean towards. Like, oh, Anakin, I knew him and all that kind of stuff, and having that little line, like, well, he didn't talk about you. It was like, oh, yada yada, great, you know.
Yeah, that's good. It's good banter.
But I loved the line of Morgan Elsbeth just talking to Balin right before everything was getting started, and she says, "Is that a hint of fear I hear in your voice?" He said, "No, that's experience."
That's experience.
I was like, that's just gold right there.
That's a gold line. Yeah.
Oh,
anything with him has been gold.
Like, no, he delivered that pretty well.
Yeah, every scene he's in, exactly what whoever just said it in the chat. Like every scene, he just demolishes.
He's great. Real quick, Mark said something. I haven't read it yet. Next episode, we'll pull a Lost Season 2, and it'll be all just about a Balin backstory flashback episode, leading us to the same cliffhanger we are now at, yet to be resolved the following week.
Oh, there's no chance.
So,
I would love that.
Hey, 2 cliffhangers in a row is ballsy, but to pull it off and make us on the edge of our seats like that, I would applaud them for.
It would be cool.
Great, but there are only 7 episodes. That would be the biggest thing about that.
That's true. Okay.
There's no chance. If it was like a 10-episode series, I could see it, but they have to get the ball rolling. Like Thrawn's not even in this yet.
Well, maybe that could be the other storyline. That could be like if they do 2 or 3, yeah.
Well, I think they could do both. I mean, like with Anakin talking to Ahsoka in the World Between Worlds, they could literally go to a different time and look at a flashback of Anakin with Balin, which I think could be cool, like during the Clone Wars.
Real quick, just World Between World. How did she get there?
I was going to ask you the same question.
No idea.
Clue.
Well, no idea.
Look, I do have one. I have one idea, but it's not true. I can't believe it.
What do you
think? I'm thinking she died.
Most likely, I think so.
She died, and this is just how people perceive being a Force ghost. Or I think maybe she got pulled in there like she did before. That's the second theory. Somehow the Force she got pulled in there.
It could be Anakin.
Because plot armor. I mean, it just doesn't really.
Well, I'm thinking both of those. I think you're literally on the right track with both of those. I think she probably would have died, or maybe did die. But I think the thing that'll keep her alive or allow her to come back is probably the same thing that pulled her into the World Between Worlds. Is she's from the Clone Wars. She's got the daughter in her still. Like the Mirai Owl is part of her. I think the Mirai grabbed her and pulled her in there, most likely. She gone. I hope not. It's her show. I hope not.
Yeah, right.
I just think like, what the bad guys? What are they thinking? You know, just look down. Do you see her now? Oh, she got away. Or, you know, I'm just thinking in movies or shows like this. What are they thinking? They're like, oh, she just fell. She's gone. She's never coming back. No one checks. We don't see
know. So okay, we can go back to World Between Worlds. Just what you said there made me think a little bit. If World Between Worlds stuff is going on, with Marok happening the way he happened, a theory that it's going around, like Darth Maul might come into some play at some point, somehow, some way. With Marok being a not so Inquisitor and being literal Night Sister magic, which, you know, Maul's enhanced by Night Sister magic, so is Savage, etc., etc. Could that have been like a very limited Force ghost of a sort of Maul? And obviously, I don't know if that really plays into it now, but could they really play into that now that Ray Stevenson has passed away? And we might not have Baylan Skoll. I mean, we won't have Baylan Skoll for season 2 unless they recast him. So would that be a way of working around that and bringing George Lucas's original sequel trilogy as Darth Maul as the villain into play? Is that a kind of a simple way to do a couple fixes? Howdy, sci-fi.
Anything can happen.
That's true.
If they could bring if they can bring Maul back, they can bring anyone else. But you're right. George Lucas's dream was, or vision, whatever you want to call it, was to have Darth Maul as the main villain. So if they can bring him back, I'd love to see it. I love Darth Maul as a character. Very well rounded after the last Clone Wars season.
And Rebels.
But how many times will you recycle the same character? I think you finally put the guy to rest in Rebels, right? And they're gonna bring him back just to cut him up again.
It's just based on what his role is to play. And
I know.
I think
have Maul and Thrawn be the ones that bring in this new empire could be crazy.
I almost feel like it'd be good in a way, because then they could do one of their like overarching villains as well as they did Darth Vader, because they did not do Palpatine that way at the end of the day. As much as I love me some Palps, the sequels just didn't treat him the right way. It just rushed him at the last quarter just for the sake of it, and just like, all right, toss him in there. Somehow he returned, and we wouldn't have a somehow with Maul. We would be able to literally see that happening, which would be kind of cool.
I feel like they could have just added that line in as a, hey, this somehow is going to be a movie later. That whole explanation is going to be a TV show later. Somehow Palpatine returned, and that's like, oh, it's just sparked a TV show for Kathleen Kennedy or whatever. She's gonna make another show out of, like Rogue One and Solo. Just those little in between movies.
Right.
Yeah, that would have been great. If they planned anything out at all.
At all.
If they planned anything, really.
That's one name,
right? Isn't Maul a crime lord at this point? Not at this point.
No, Maul's dead.
He's dead. No, he's long gone.
Yeah, he died before New Hope, based on canon events. He died in Rebels. During the time of Solo, which is probably like a good 7 years before his death, that's when he was a crime lord.
Yeah. Which there's a couple great novels about that, by the way. It's great novels. Howdy, Aaron. Chilling in the basement down here.
What's up?
How you doing?
Double Aaron's down here. It's kind of fun. We got Shmook and chilling down here. It's kind of great. While you're hopping in,
I just want to say one of my favorite scenes from this episode was again after like the Lightspeed scene, right? I love that sense of dread, like where you just have Jason even say, "Oh, I have a bad feeling." I'm like, "Oh, I feel that," and the look on Hera's face, I'm like, that to me was like, okay. I could feel Thrawn coming based on that.
Like a shift, like a change.
There's a change in the universe, just like when Maul and Ahsoka were fighting, like these are things are happening. So like when Mace dies and Anakin becomes Vader, when things are changing. And this is one of those moments.
I must quote Deadpool and say it was smart of Hera to wear the brown pants.
Yeah, that's just true.
Fair enough.
Because that look on her face was at least I know that look from when I shit my pants is pretty fucking similar. So,
I think the most dreadful line, dread is the right word to use, were Baylan talking about Anakin. Maybe Elsbeth talking to Baylan about that, but I think that line for sure. And then, when Baylan's convincing Sabine to turn, I think those little 4 moments were just like,
oh my goodness,
the house being built, the cornerstones being placed, just to turn this thing into a different gear, and I'm pumped. It's terrifying.
So like Palpatine talking to Anakin, being like, "I can teach you the power to save your wife," where it's like, Baylan's like, "Listen, I give you my word. Like you can come with us and we can save your friend. Just give us this map."
What will y'all think if Baylan's the one to unlock Sabine's Force abilities?
That'd be crazy. Yeah.
That'd be wild.
I mean, it could.
I feel like she'd have to go dark side for that to happen, though.
Right.
Oh, she would.
She's already started.
Ahsoka has to deal with that too. After she loses her apprentice to the dark side and her master to the dark side. That. Ooh.
Oh, that's a shitty sandwich.
That is a shitty sandwich. My God.
What were you saying, Nick?
I was just saying she's already taken her first steps. I mean, Ahsoka trusted her to make the right decision and blow up the map, but she has that attachment to Ezra, and the dude's looking into her mind, saying you feel like Ezra's the only family you have left, and saying this awful things about Ahsoka getting her family killed. It's really just feeding into her ear, and he's saying it with confidence. So
yeah, what the fuku kachu was that shit anyway?
I mean, I don't blame. That's a great question. What happened there? You can't blame Sabine for listening to this guy. He's very compelling. He's got a good, and then he destroys the map, which I thought was very
big.
That's
in the dopest way possible too.
Dope way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And everything he's saying is honest too. And then he's like, "You have my word. Everything will happen this way." And then he does some other stuff that's not even contradicting his words. So it's like you can't phase this guy. You can't defeat this guy with just words.
He's a man.
Oh yeah.
But,
well, outside of outside of your common force user powers, his appear to be very cerebral based. Getting the visions to see to see Ahsoka's coming, and then dipping into Sabine's mind to read her emotions at a pretty fine level, and then use that to manipulate the ever-loving shit out of her. The dude is scary.
Yeah,
he is just straight up menacing and scary.
He's regal to me too.
He's very
yes.
Aaron, we discussed this right before you showed up, but I said this guy he's giving a lot of Empire energy, and I say this he's very sophisticated. He shows a lot of strength without even having to move that much. Very Vader-like. I wouldn't say he's at the level of Vader, but if you're talking about him casually, you came to play.
He's somewhere between Dooku and Vader in a way.
That's what I was gonna say. He's like, if Dooku and Vader had a kid, it would be Balin.
It would be Balin.
He's got the poise and elegance of Dooku, and then just that heavy-handed badassery of Vader.
Well, not to mention being damn near Vader-sized without the benefits of all the
without all the giant metal samurais.
Ray Stevenson is just a large man.
Oh yeah,
he's just a big motherfucker. Yeah, no shit,
big boy.
I'm for not knowing him as a person at all, every scene I see him in now is I just get that much more sad that he's gone, because he's if he's in a scene, it doesn't matter who else is in it. That's his scene. It doesn't.
If you're not familiar with him as an actor, you can go back and his entire repertoire is like that. I mean, you've seen Thor, right? The Thor movies.
Yeah,
he's
he's the guy with the big red beard.
I forget his name.
Thor's buddy.
Starts with a B. I forgot, but yeah.
Oh no shit! I didn't realize that was him.
Yeah.
I went back and watched Punisher Warzone just for shits and giggles.
Nice.
He's good in that too, and
he is. Dude emotes with his face like a motherfucker.
He actually plays 2 Star Wars characters. He plays this guy, and then he plays the Mandalorian, who helps them all. The main lieutenant, Gar Saxon. He is the voice actor of Gar Saxon.
Yeah.
He voiced Gar Saxon?
Yes.
Hey.
Damn.
He plays 2 Star Wars characters, and I think that's awesome.
I'm about to get back to that spot in Rebels. I'm on season 3
hits on this
rewatch.
Yeah, go rewatch the final season of Clone Wars. He's voicing it.
No way. He's just an amazing actor. Him and Butcher, boys. Carl Urban.
Carl Urban.
Those two, you put them in
Carl Urban. Oh, I fucking love Carl Urban, dude.
They were that same type of actor. They're like chameleons, but they're not the type of people. You just look at them, you're like, oh yeah, they'll probably play the same thing over and over, and you look at their repertoire.
They can do it all.
Unpredictable actors.
Yeah.
I mean, Carl Urban's played a vampire, and he's played Dr. McCoy.
Right.
And he played a space doctor in the new Star Trek, he's Éomer in Lord of the Rings. And
yes, he is.
And yes,
isn't he in Marvel as well? Isn't he Marvel?
And sorry to Stallone fans, he's the better Judge Dredd.
He's the better Judge Dredd. But he's in Ragnarok. He's in Ragnarok.
What's his name? Destroy together.
Oh yeah, the one dude who
talking about? I forget.
Pseudo took over for it. Might be.
Is his name Skull? Is he based off of the wolf that Balin's skull is written off of, the Norse mythology?
He might.
Shit. Okay,
sounds
I'm on
right,
my phone. One of you
That
people with
sounds
a
right.
computer handle this shit.
I got 2 monitors and 2 free hands, and I won't do it. I'm kidding. What's the name?
I just don't
Just
know.
Skull. SKOLL.
Yeah.
My Google.
You might want to add Norse to the search too.
I do wish they got a better role for Carl Urban.
Skull,
With multiverse, it doesn't matter though. So I hope they can bring back Carl Urban.
Yeah.
I want him in a bigger role.
I would love
search
Carl
this.
Urban
What are
as
you trying to
Star
look up? No, Skull. Okay. Norse mythology. It's a wolf that, according to Snorri, Sturluson's I don't know what this is. Chases the sun, personified as the goddess Sol, riding her chariot across the sky. That's what Google saw.
Yeah.
What about?
If you're on the Wikipedia, go to the representations and media section, and that should have the Thor rule in Ragnarok under that.
Yeah, because Balin's skull is the one that chases the sun, and then Shin Hati, Skull and Hati are Norse wolves. Some people know that or not. But Hati is the wolf that chases the moon. So that's kind of fun to have that yin and yang in Norse mythology literally happening before our eyes, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll be her moon.
Hey, I'll just chase that moon any day. I'll be that moon too.
Yes.
Shin, come on. I don't remember the actress's name, but she's like 33, which is insane.
Well, guys, I do have to go here, but I just want to say I do think this episode has brought that joy back to me with Star Wars. I feel that magic again, so I can thank Dave Filoni. I cannot wait for next week to eat up all that Anakin dialogue that we are going to get.
Oh, yeah.
Excited as well, man.
All right, guys.
I think I know the answer to the question, but before you go, what was your favorite moment? We'll keep talking, of course, but what was your favorite moment from the episode?
Well, I mean, okay.
I'm pretty sure I know.
Obviously, besides seeing Anakin in like the World Between Worlds, like in live action, that's the highlight, like the peak of his episode for me. But I think just any Balin scene, and then as well as again that sense of dread right after they go into the different galaxy. I think those are my highlights. And then like the small highlight that I just thought was a cool ass scene again was just the droids fighting each other. It was a sick little tiny action sequence.
Yeah.
Dude, Hu Yang's got some moves, man.
He got moves.
I thought Hu Yang was going to pull out a lightsaber or two.
I know.
He still got it.
He'd be sick if he gets some lightsabers.
And
he trains people.
Or, hell, even those fucking training sticks, man. He can still club a motherfucker.
Right.
And the man is highly intuitive too. Like he was messing with the wires. Ahsoka knew immediately to go ahead. And
right. No, he's smart.
I thought it was great. Yeah.
Bye, guys. Hey,
All
I'll catch y'all next week. All right.
Seeing you, man.
Later, brother.
Bye. Always good to have you in here, buddy.
All right. See you.
Yes, sir. Okay. Moving on.
How beautiful was the World Between Worlds, though? You probably already talked about this, but oh my god.
It was just like Cena and Rebels, man.
It
better.
Better. I don't know how they made it better, but I was worried as hell.
They took all that hospital white and gave it a blue tint.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah. It just felt so surreal. Like as you knew if you've watched Rebels, obviously the three of us have. So it was like that little moment, like this is happening. We're going here. Just that little like transition between the waves.
What's gonna happen next? And then you start to hear Anakin. I'm like, are we gonna see him? I literally got up. I was sitting up. I'm like, are we about to see him?
Oh, dude.
And I was like, oh my gosh, it's Anakin.
You hear, hey Snips, been a while, and just like, oh my god.
Dude, I was bouncing on my couch like a 4-year-old at Christmas. I'm just
like, he's back. He's finally back. I mean, he was back in Obi-Wan, but he looks
and
so much
properly
better now.
de-aged.
Properly, yes. Thankfully, they actually put a couple dollars towards it.
I really just want to know, like, does he still have all of his hands and feet and shit?
Well, he's a ghost now, so he probably.
No, I really thought it would have been. No, I'm just saying it would have been funny if after he was a Force ghost, he still had a robot arm. He's like, really? And still after all this, I still.
Or maybe you're a ghost and you only have like the limbs that you died with, but actual limbs. So he's just walking around handless. Just
right. Or what is it? I want to see all the Padawans come back and visit Anakin as a Force ghost. Like, hey, a youngling, you know, we're in world.
I swear Star Wars Theory did an animation that involved that. It was fucking hysterical.
I need to see that. That sounds great.
Oh, dude, it's a what's it called? It's called Once Upon a Theory. It's like 3 or 4 cartoons. It's fucking hysterical as shit.
Oh, that'd be great. I'm just imagining like World War Z on top of Anakin, just a bunch of younglings just taking him.
You need to watch South Park's version, not South Park, Robot Chicken's version of Anakin having to go through with killing those younglings, and he's like, all right, just go to your happy place, and then he doesn't even see the younglings anymore. He's in a meadow with like sunflowers and daisies and stuff, and he's got clippers, head trimmers, you know, he's just like clipping the sunflowers and, you know, clipping all the trees, and some of them are running away. and then later in the Robot Chicken episode, he brings Padme flowers.
Yeah. That's amazing. That is amazing.
Robot Chicken rips off a lot, just like Family Guy and American, all those other shows. But I really highly recommend you watch the Robot Chicken Star Wars version.
I've seen the Yariel.
I've seen some of it.
I love the Yariel.
No, they do it all. They do prequels. They've done the original, and then I think they did the sequels as well.
The one thing that I want Star Wars to do right now, like they don't have to do anything about it. They literally just have to press the button and press release, or maybe hire.
When do you want it to happen?
Right now.
It.
Specifically, no, just to make sure, not like 10 minutes, not in an hour. Right now. Okay, right now.
Yeah. Star Wars Detours. Do y'all know what that is?
No, what is it?
They have Seth Green. Obviously, we grew up with Seth Green. Seth Green has been famous for 20, 30 years. It's Seth Green. We all know Seth Green.
Shit.
Creator of Robot Chicken. One of the only people that George Lucas has been like, yeah, just parody it and have fun with. He wrote an entire comedy parody Star Wars series that is, I think they have 100 episodes plus already made. So multiple seasons already made. They weren't. They were going to release it, or they were getting prepared to release it when Lucas was making or preparing to make his live-action TV series. Yeah. And then whenever he was kind of like, "We're selling to Disney," they scrapped it all. So we literally have an entire Star Wars animated comedy show ready, in the vein of Robot Chicken, at any day.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I agree. Now,
nothing ever stays hidden forever. Okay,
true.
I mean, stuff can get recovered with new technology and stuff. I'm just saying, with stuff that I'm losing my train of thought here. People can honestly release stuff, just like signing a contract or like selling rights over. You know, so it can happen. That's what I'm trying to say. Like stuff can be released.
Well, yeah. Those rights have already been like. Literally the only thing holding that back is, I guess, executives at Disney at this point, which is just kind of like, come on.
Iger must hate money right now.
Iger's making some funky decisions. I
don't like.
Sci-Fi Quest asks, what did y'all think about seeing the Ghost? Absolutely love seeing it.
Oh, dude, that was glorious.
It was
seeing part of the crew there. We got Chopper. Got everyone, you know. I can't wait. I just want like everyone to be back in it, you know. Sabine, Ezra, Zeb.
But if we have everyone,
I don't know if we're gonna get any more Zeb.
I know he's expensive. A big old CGI dude on screen.
He'll come back in for the movie.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They'll spend the money on him for that.
Zeb, though, you know who I desperately want to see. Now that we've talked about Gar Saxon and a couple others, cool little Mandalorian.
Motherfucking, you better be about to say Hondo Ohnaka, because that's.
Oh, I want Hondo Ohnaka.
I need Hondo Ohnaka in live action.
Live action Hondo would be cool.
I honestly, need it.
I know it would be way too costly to get him, but I want Johnny Depp to play Hondo Ohnaka so bad. So bad. You know how great that would be?
A space pirate, man.
He almost
he's a space pirate.
There are quite a few parallels between him and Captain Jack Sparrow.
Well, Captain Hondo Ohnaka at a certain point, not so much Rebels, but still like, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got the right voice though. I mean, Hondo's voice.
He could fake it, no problem.
He could
probably.
And if not, they could ADR that like nobody's business and just have him do something else later.
That would be cool. I'm not saying no. I would love to see Johnny Depp as a space pirate.
It'd probably be someone a little younger and just leaner, just because Hondo is just such a thin kind of dude.
Well, and especially in Rebels, he was thinner than he was in Clone Wars, and this is even later than that. So he's gonna be a thin old. What the fuck is he?
A Nikto.
No.
Is he not Nikto?
No.
I couldn't tell.
No, he's Weequay. He's Weequay.
Yes, Weequay. Yes, that.
Weequay.
Weequay. Weequay.
Nikto are the ones that look like Weequay, but they have the pointy little like they almost have like the dinosaur kind of like plate on their head almost.
Okay, Nikto.
Klaatu, Verata, Nikto.
Yes.
Klaatu, Verata. I said it right. I'm gonna pick it up now.
But the person I want to see come back that's part of the Rebels crew later on, and we've seen a lot of Mandalorians, but we haven't seen Finn Rao, and I want some Finn Rao.
Finn Rao?
I think Finn Rao would be one of the people that might be able to bring Sabine back in a little bit.
Is he Death Watch? Finn Rao?
Kinda, but Sabine's Death Watch, technically, by technicality.
No, I'm not saying. No, I'm just asking, is he Death Watch? I'm not saying that's a problem.
Oh no! Actually, he's not Death Watch. He's opposite Death Watch. I don't. He was part of the Concord Dawn people. I just don't remember which clan or house he was under.
Yeah, I don't know which clan Finn Rao.
Who are we talking about?
Finn Rao. Rebels.
I thought it was Death Watch.
I thought he was Death Watch.
The first time he gets really pissed off whenever Sabine pops down. Is like, I'm of House Wren, Clan Vizsla, and everybody else is like, Death Watch. And she's like, no, I'm not part of them, but still like coerces Finn Rao into having that one-on-one battle with her, then blows up all their ships and stuff. So they're not Death Watch, but they were on the moons of Concord Dawn. So they're like, they were considered protectorates. I just don't know which house that belongs to. I'd like to see Sabine flashback to Kanan training with a Darksaber or visiting his son as a Force ghost. Not going to happen, though. Not going to happen, but Freddie Prinze Jr. in live action as Kanan would make me very happy. Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Freddie's just a little nuts.
He's a little nuts. He's a nut job, but he's good with the Force. He knows Force stuff. And that's because he was trained by Dave Filoni.
Finn Rao was Death Watch.
Really?
Yeah. He's got the markings of Death Watch. He died, though. He was the one that Darth Maul, his head, chopped him off. Isn't that Finn Rao?
I don't know.
I thought that
I just looked up Finn Rao.
Wasn't that a Vizsla?
Yeah. Oh no, that was Clone Wars.
Oh,
that Maul killed in the throne room or whatever. Wasn't that a Vizsla?
You could be right. I just looked up Star Wars Finn Rao, and it's Death Watch photos popped up.
Oh yeah.
So I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, no, Finn Rao's still alive technically. We don't know. At least that's what Google's saying. Wharf line appropriate. Little, yeah. I'd like to see him. And thinking about the Mandalorians and stuff, Sabine and all that, maybe because it seemed like what Baylan was saying to Sabine was that Ezra's gone to the dark side. Come join him, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of felt like that. I feel like he knows Ezra's out there and is like, hey, come find Ezra. But they get there and maybe Ezra's like been screwing with him the entire time. And because we've all we kind of assumed to a degree just after watching Rebels that, Ezra might be tempted by the dark side a lot, He probably had to help Thrawn just kind of stay alive and they were kind of helping each other to a degree way the hell out there. But what if that's not the case? Sabine's the one that actually falls, and Ezra has to convince Sabine to come back from the dark side. Baylan teaches Sabine to actually tap into the Force and use anger like a Mandalorian's good at, and then Ezra has to tap back into her.
Mandalorians do not have anger issues. What are you talking about, man?
What?
Have you seen their planet lately?
Lately or any time in the last...
the one with the giant hole in it, right?
Part of it's a little glassy,
It's infested with, giant sea creatures. But that's just me.
And then I can't wait to underground sea creature that we're just waiting on.
I want to see Din Grogu tame that beast and ride it like the original Mandalorians.
Are we back?
So
you're back.
Did it freeze for a second?
You froze
a few seconds.
Yes.
All right, we're back. We're back.
I had 3 spinnies on my screen.
Oh, well.
What do you think about what do you think about Din
now
Grogu?
We're all good.
He's got connections to animals, and he's a Mandalorian now.
Yes, but I've been thinking about this since they even started talking about Sabine and the Force. Sabine.
Are we talking about Tar Vizsla replacements here?
Well, kind of, sort of. Who's going to be the Mandalore, essentially? Is it going to be Grogu or Sabine or Din? I don't think it's going to be Din. I think it's Grogu or Sabine. If Sabine can tap into the Force, by technicality, even though the Darksaber got destroyed and whatever BS, Sabine still...
Well, if she can tap into the Force, she'll have the Darksaber back if she can find that crystal.
Yeah, I mean, I literally think... Because she handed it off. She never technically lost it in battle. By all technicalities, it's still Darksaber.
And then Moff Gideon, you never see the body, but you see that guy roasted.
My clones.
If we're starting to talk about if we're starting to brush up on the Mandalorian, I know a lot of people got pissed off at the Bacta tanks with all the clones, and they did nothing with it.
They could still do more. More.
I was hoping for a post-credit scene where it's all that's rubble and stuff, but you pan over to just one Bacta tank undamaged, and he just comes out of it.
Too easy.
Well, Lucasfilm is famous for making ideas worse than ours.
They made so many clones, and if you watch Rick and Morty, they say, "Come on, half of all sci-fi is clones." Okay, let's just clones are. It's gonna happen. You with Snoke, with the Emperor, you can clone anybody. Next episode, we could see 100 Darth Mauls just coming out of left field, bro. I don't know. Just saying.
Which I wouldn't say no to. It'd be entertaining. I don't know if it'd be a good story, but it'd be entertaining.
They would all turn on each other.
They would, though. It'd be great. Some would team up and be like, "You're my Savage," and that would piss them off even more, probably. It'd really make them fight. Yes, definitely. It was nice to see Sabine fighting like Sabine, using the Mando weapons and techniques. One of my favorite things of the episode was she literally has her armor on from the get-go. And I'm just like, give us, we know it's going to be good the second she has her armor back on. And they haven't shown the armor besides in a box. And so, hey, put that Mando armor on, which they need to give me reasoning why. Obviously, she's just hanging out on the ship and then running outside. But if she's got the armor on, why not have the jetpack? Why not have the jetpack? I don't know.
I was hoping for her to do some cool jetpack stuff with the trees and everything, but I may have been too easy for her because Ahsoka's got to have her fight, right?
Yeah.
What if they finish their apprentice fight and then she gets a jetpack and just goes over there and I don't know, could just grab the orb and leave.
I think it makes it too easy.
So I'd say for the plot, she left it on the ship.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be like that Lord of the Rings in 30 seconds where Frodo just rides the big eagle and drops the ring in Mount Doom and just keeps flying.
If life made sense.
Logic was applied at all parts of everything.
If things were that easy, everyone would do it.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
No, sorry. I got a question.
No, I was going to make another joke, but I was going to say if that happened, we wouldn't have The Hobbit. I don't think we'd have another trilogy.
No.
How would you wrap up The Hobbit in 30 minutes? You know, if
fuck the dragon, I'm staying home.
Yeah, forget the dragon.
Yeah.
Forget the mountain. Oh, there's another mountain. You just go
honestly, if you just let it be, that's the Hobbit. It's just like letting it be.
What was your question?
The question though. Okay, so Balin says to Sabine that her entire family's dead because her master didn't trust her, insinuating Ahsoka. But we never see her family die. House Wren is still alive.
We never see Sabine Wren as a Sabrina.
The witch. She's here.
You never see her trained with Ahsoka, so there's a lot of like reference to that going on.
It's just more of the off-screen. It's more of the off-screen drama that they gave us with. We're just now getting more detail.
I don't like that her family's dead though, because I love Ursa Wren, her mom, and her brother,
and the brother. Yeah,
great. I
want to know if Shin is Galen's foundling or daughter.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing earlier.
We talked about the same thing. We said, he's the fallen Jedi. Along with the title, we were talking about who is the fallen Jedi, and I was saying Balin, because he knows so much about Anakin, he knows so much about Ahsoka, and just like he's trained super, super well to go up against Ahsoka and win. Come on, this guy is. I think he either took one of the younglings from the temple, or he found her along the way.
I don't think she's old enough to be from the temple.
No, that character is only like 20.
Okay, yeah,
could be. Yeah, you're right. Could be the daughter. Could be someone else.
Yeah, it's either daughter or foundling. I just want to know which for sure.
Yeah, Shmoog and I about the Fallen Jedi though. I think it kind of applies to everybody. We both were like,
well, it literally applies to Ahsoka.
Yeah, I know. I made that joke. I was like, well,
like it literally applies to Ahsoka.
We're talking in the literal sense.
Technically, literally, and metaphorically, because she literally got kicked off the cliff.
Not a Jedi.
And figurative.
Left the Jedi, and yeah, all kinds of stuff.
True. She was not knighted by the. She was not knighted by the council.
True. But as Sabine is like kind of becoming more Jedi-esque, she immediately falls. That's Anakin is a fallen Jedi, and he's at the end of the episode. Marok is also kind of if he. Who knows what the hell Marok is because he smelled.
I just exhaled Marok.
A fallen Jedi, so it was interesting.
Yeah,
Marok was Night Sister magic, but it was cool because they actually made it look like the Night Sister magic we saw in Clone Wars and Rebels.
I
mean, if they were gonna fuck around like that, they at least made it look good.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That literally looked like all the Night Sister magic I've ever seen animated.
It was great. Morgan
still kind of what I mean. I'm still a little what the fuck with that though. It's like, come on, bro. Like Night Sister smoke.
Okay. Part of me, obviously, kind of a lot of people wanted it to be Galen Merrick, and like, obviously that'd be cool. But it was almost like a breath of fresh air. It felt like whenever he was getting cut open, like a wound was just being like released for all of us in a way. It was like, okay, not Merrick. Okay, good. Okay. Now we can actually keep like moving on with our lives.
You saw the Tales of the Jedi where Ahsoka fights that guy in the very last episode, and he just looked like the Force. He just dissolved, and it was different. I didn't make the Night Sister connection, but it makes sense, complete sense. Yeah. I like the idea that it was just a brute, that it wasn't a main character or anyone else. That was a good compliment to the Night Sister magic. But I think they've already done that kind of infused with Force abilities with Savage back in.
Well, yeah.
The only ever time we see magic the only ever time we see magic like that is with Maul and Savage. So that was really cool. A lot of Night Sister magic being used.
I do appreciate all the Night Sister magic.
Makes me happy,
so
especially after
and then the rest of that episode, I didn't even care by the time that episode was over. I was like, "Fuck Brock, the hell with that dude." Look what I've been given.
Yes.
Look what Dave has blessed us with this episode. Holy fuck. Did you guys yet discuss the fact that there is Vader theme being played over Anakin popping up there?
We did not yet. We did not. So we get Anakin, and then we get the Vader theme.
So yeah, we did. I think we're gonna see some of his apprentices. I mean, or
I've
someone
got,
like.
I've
Go ahead.
got possibilities. No, go ahead, but I've got possibilities.
Last episode, we talked about the possibility of Starkiller coming into the picture. Maybe, maybe not, but I do think that this Baylan has a connection to Anakin that we're going to start touching up on, possibly on like the darker side of it. And Anakin's going to be like, yeah, I did some pretty fucked up stuff. Him being one of them, like I had apprentice before you, it didn't work out kind of thing, like a sense maybe not that, but like some shamefulness coming from Anakin. But at the same time, a lot more knowledge of the character, and maybe Ahsoka's going to find a way to defeat him or get a leg up on Baylan.
How does Ahsoka come back from this? Does Anakin bring her back? Does the Mirai Owl bring her back, or is she forced to look within herself to find a way back out? I guess.
I don't know.
She is in the.
I haven't even remotely considered that yet.
She got herself in by accident. She can accidentally get herself out, and I think she's gonna end up in the place where she needs to be the most, which is either back in the same place she was, because that's what happened last time. She ended up being back at the Sith temple when she faced Vader. She may just end up right back there with the ship and just take off and go find Sabine. Or maybe she just teleports to Sabine and calls for help.
See, that's one thing. We talked about that last week. Do you think she could use the world between worlds to find her way to the Beyond verse or whatever they're calling it, the Beyond or whatever?
Don't you have to know your way in order to know your way out, though? Like she didn't.
The world between worlds literally help bridge the gap.
Walk in.
Two theories.
Like Ezra did.
Ezra walked in, but Ahsoka, 10 times out of 10 has been pulled in out of nowhere. So she's been able to get in and out before with help. And I think Anakin's going to help her out.
I can see that. Put a foot in her ass. After he teaches her a lesson about destiny.
Ahsoka's just like a passenger along for the ride. She doesn't need to really figure stuff out. She just can navigate through situations. So I think she'll be able to find her way to Sabine from that world.
She very much is like Gandalf in that way.
If not, she's gonna get Anakin's help.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's something for y'all to chew on. So we got the Vader music right when we saw Anakin. Now he looks exactly the same, obviously, as Revenge of the Sith Anakin.
Yeah.
But there was a point in time where he looked exactly like that as Darth Vader. So is that Anakin Skywalker greeting her, or is that pre-chop Darth Vader greeting her? That's one question. That's one question.
I want to say that's post Darth Vader.
Question 2.
I think
Does that mean he's going to step to the side and we're going to see fucking Darth Vader? And then we're going to get to have a 3-way conversation between Anakin, Vader, and Ahsoka.
You can't rule anything out in World Between Worlds. You could see Anakin fight Vader. I doubt they'll actually fight.
No, that won't happen.
You could see two sides to Anakin.
It'd be Anakin fighting Vader and more like a verbal spat in a way or something like that.
Yeah,
it's the thing I said earlier. You could have 100 Darth Mauls with cloning. You could. I don't think in the World Between Worlds you would actually get the real Darth Vader. You could get like maybe a.
Because it's still one soul. Yeah. Right? It's still one soul. Well, no, even Vader and Anakin are one soul.
Yeah. It's one person, one soul. It's really okay. The whole
as powerful as Anakin is, he could manifest that shit.
I mean, if you watch Obi-Wan and if you watch the final fight and they're like, Anakin's gone, I'm what remains. You didn't kill Obi-Wan, I did. It's Anakin taking responsibility for killing himself. The only part of himself that was good. And he believes that. And he also, if you read the comics, he went to these, I forget what they're called, but he wanted to basically wipe his memory of Padme and all that crap. So he could never remember all the good stuff about him. but it's the same person. And once Luke finally came back into the picture, a part of him came back and was like, oh, not all hope is lost. I still have something to care about, which is his son. And it's like a mental thing. It's a mental block. It's not like Darth Vader's a completely different person. He just shut off Anakin completely and tried to do it very, very hard. But his son came in and was like, I see the good in you, but not my nephew. Mm-hmm. He had bad dreams. But I see the good in you, man.
Kill him. Well,
Don't
yeah.
get me started on that shit.
I'm with you. I think the only way that Anakin could fight Vader would be if there's no reason for that to happen in the World Between Worlds, because Luke does fight himself in Empire, but that's because he's going into like a specific cave. It's like real time and not so World Between Worlds.
You got to find the right cave, yeah.
To
fight yourself, you got to be alive and you got to fight. Yeah.
Yeah, but once you find that right cave, though, you love to go spelunking.
You love to go spelunking. What was it not established that you can't clone force powers? Or was that just the game? It was just the game, but Mandalorians kind of brought that back because they've been trying to clone Grogu for a little while.
All the idea, it surrounds the idea of midichlorians, and George Lucas has touched up on this on episode 1. Vader dance off, yes. He talked about midichlorians, and Sabine doesn't really have that big of a count, and that's why Anakin has all of his powers. Where was I going with this? The clones. Yes, the clones could have midichlorians too. That's why he grabbed Grogu to increase the midichlorian count to give himself force powers. So the more he clones, the more chances he has and just transfer his consciousness into that body. Kind of like how the Emperor did the same thing.
Well, like Hu Yang says, like Sabine might not be very force sensitive, and then Ahsoka is like, well, every being is force sensitive. If they're alive, they're force sensitive. It's just to varying degrees. Obviously, there's a talent factor in there, and there's a few other things.
Yeah,
we just gotta wait and see, I guess.
She's starting to... Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was gonna pull up a comment.
She was starting to get her fighting abilities are great with a saber. I think she's getting her senses down, and then in the end of that fight, she kind of pushes her. Not enough to really do anything, but you see the progress. You see the progress between Padawans, and you see who's ahead.
Shin by a mile, but Shin also went half expecting something to happen with Sabine doing the force push, which was kind of funny. That was just comical for the moment. She went, oh, you're weak. It just goes right back at her, and that was great.
Then we're talking about force abilities. I thought it was cool to see that side of Ahsoka when she took out the Padawan, just picked her because of Sabine. Like, where's Sabine? And then Sabine shows up. He's like, oh, I may have regretted that decision. You never really see Ahsoka lash out anymore.
Kind of like she's allowing herself to be a little dark, but not like super dark. She's like, I am no Jedi, which she likes to say, but just throw him in the corner.
It's
It's just kind of funny because Balin had to tell her to put her down, like she was bad dog. Put that down. Put it down. Down.
Bad Shin. Bad Shin.
I love Shin though. She's just so
she's
unedged and unhinged. She just like does whatever.
Her ability to not blink never ceases to amaze me. I don't think she's blinked once this entire show. Like honestly,
we have her and Jenna Ortega as Wednesday just fight each other.
I just want to see like between each take that a team rushing to give her eye drops.
Right.
Just like, and cut. Bring it in. She can't see.
Right.
Head back.
She has to blink in 2 days, guys. Take her to the hospital. Come on.
And the second the cameras start rolling, she's probably like crying with her freaking eyes, and they're just having to be like, just fanning it to make it not like run down her face, which is hilarious. I love that on sets.
I applaud her. And I really want to see how this ends, and I really hope in the last thing she gets away, whatever, she survives, and then she finally blinks, and that's how we end it.
when
credits.
She turns to the good side when she blinks.
She's just like, blink. You just see, it blacks out. You see the Star Wars trailer. That's it.
Honestly, it'd be cool if she blinked and it came back with yellow Sith eyes.
I think the eyes are important. You're right. That would be kind of cool.
That'd be sick. I can see her going either way, though. I have not yet been able to decide.
I think. Go ahead.
Sorry, you don't customize crystals. I mean, you can in like video games, but you don't customize your crystals. They're form fit to you. And she's obviously using Ezra's crystal. If she gets her own crystal one day, she'd probably be purple or maybe even orange.
Some do change, but that's only because you're either turning to the dark side, or you found a Sith crystal and you've cleansed it to make it white like Ahsoka. So that's, I think, the only two ways you can change it. But it's Star Wars. They're always finding new lore and new ways to change the game. You never know. All right,
no opportunities.
I'm gonna get going.
Mostly it comes down to Dave does like, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and if you wrote a book contrary or a comic contrary, sorry about your luck.
And if you have any complaints, bring it up with George, and I promise you, George doesn't care. Okay.
Yep.
George will send you right back to Dave.
And then George will send you to Harris, and then Harrison Ford will tell you to go put yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you could always, get a free phone call from Harrison Ford telling you that. It's not
pretty entertaining. All right. Well, before you leave, Nick.
Yes.
Mark's been a good idea. I guess would be a good sentence, good statement. Ahsoka has the map burnt into her palm, which she will be able to use to exit the world between worlds at the destination point. I didn't even think about that.
Wow. What an homage to Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Heil Hitler.
Lucasfilm just brought it back.
Wow.
That would be cool. That would be a really cool reference. I
gotta remember
something on her
this.
palm. So does she wear something on her hands? Right?
She has her.
She has leather. The pattern's gonna stay.
Okay, I want to see it. I really hope that happens. I'm gonna be clapping. If it happens, you're just gonna picture me just.
Right.
All right, guys.
I don't know. As soon as you hit that rhythm, I don't think you're gonna be standing anymore.
It's been great, guys. I'll see you next Tuesday. Okay, it's been fun.
Yes, sir. See you, brother. Thank you for coming and stopping by. All right. Well, we might just be shooting the shit at this point. We might just be hanging out. Who knows? Does anybody have anything they want to talk about in the comments? Do y'all have anything that y'all just adored about this episode? I'm trying to look at my notes over here real quick.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked a lot about it. But we haven't glossed over. We've done little bits and bits of each thing.
Mm-hmm.
While we are here, though, just because I tend to wait until the end of a stream, and then half the time I forget. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm so glad Matt made this for us. I'm terrible about asking all these things, so I might as well have a little graphic that does it for me. Follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram right here. Aaron, where can people find you, my friend?
I actually threw my link to my channel in that title thingy that we're allowed to do. So
y'all see that?
Just copy and paste. Just copy that shit and paste it in the YouTube thingy, and you will go right to where I do my shit.
Yes, sir. And it's still chilling in the basement on Twitter as well, huh?
It's actually at Hetch75 on Twitter.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Twitter is wrong. Oh, no,
HETCH75.
X, Twitter, whatever.
On X. On Zitter. I'm going with Zitter.
I like that, fun. Actually. That's kind of funny. I don't mind calling it X. But if
it's Zitter, everything you put up is then a pop.
That's funny. Actually, kind of. But I will never never stop calling it tweet or retweet. Those are the two things. Like, you can change the name of the company, but tweet and retweet, it's too perfect. Too perfect. Mm-hmm. The repost pisses me off. Just like, come on. Any kind of creativity, something, anything, please. What is Mark saying? They hung a lantern on how much it burned her hand. It's Chekhov's gun. I think so. Once you said it, it was like, ha, light bulb, That'll be how she gets to the destination for sure. Likely simply walking out from the world between worlds. Yeah, that's kind of how you do it, I think.
Oh, hey, you know what? What if what if Anakin has to give her like a force boost and then it like gets all glowy and shit and just like and then basically opens a portal like Doctor Strange would, but out of a glowy shit on her hand.
A Force Ghost would be the only one that would know where to be able to do something like that, I would think.
Yeah, not to mention power it.
Yeah. And the Chosen One might help a little bit there. And also,
I'm gonna remember none of this on Saturday when I need to. This sucks. I'm gonna have to watch this shit back.
We got the replay button for that. I'll never say no to an extra view, you know?
Oh, for sure. Neither will I.
Never ever.
Oh, damn. I'm down to 19%, bruh. I gotta go.
All right. Shall we toss on that intro/outro and call it a day?
Hit it.
Let's do it. All right. Have you seen the MCubed intro/outro yet?
I think so.
I think today was the first time I showed it. Have you seen anything today?
Maybe not. I saw your M1. I saw your M1. I don't think I saw the G1.
Matt has outdone himself. That motherfucker just. I woke up and he was like, "Look what I made you," and he showed me this. I love it.
That's great. Yeah, I actually did see that. That's awesome.
I love that thing. But later, I'm going to play the actual outro this time, and then we're going to get on out of here.